Welcome you, superstars. Lune Messi Makati. Torres Kaka Ribery. Dribbling with that fancy feet. All eyes turning to the clock. Who's gonna win the walkout? Is it gonna be Drogba? Where they go in Africa? Old man, young man, doesn't really matter. Rich man, poor man, white man, shit. Old man, young man, doesn't really matter. Come on down and feel the beat. In Africa! Double the counter-attack. Hit the ball like Kolak. Hat-trick to Samuelito. Look at him go, that's go. Keep time, Lerner and the rest. We try to make the very best. Don't blink, you may miss the best.
What's your family background?
My mother is Georgian origin. My dad is Iranian. I was born in Geneva and raised in Bangkok, Moscow, Stockholm, Tehran for a couple of years right before the Iranian Revolution. Then went off to Washington DC with a big exposure in the UK during my boarding school.
Every time I
Studied film, and you can see that in my art. I studied history, you can see that in my art, and neither got me any jobs. To be honest with you, my experience in school in the UK did not lend itself to art, although I got my O-level at a very young age. I think I was 13.
You turn my back on you and come with me. I am the jester, jesting one last time.
70s and 80s, you know, graphic violence actually became quite the norm in film.
Starting with Tom and Jerry, right? I mean, from cartoons up.
Sure,
right?
from cartoons up, but it took a film like, say, Mean Streets or Taxi Driver or The Godfather for me to see violence in a way that was so much more realistic.
Cartoon Joe went to a crew, Beverly living.
Please explain streaks.
Are you filming?
Yes, I'm filming.
Bold expressions of color
And love.
and love.
Oh no, I am the jester, just saying one last time.
Creating sort of fairly visually dramatic scenes. And the whole idea is that with kids toys, I can create something that's graphically quite disturbing.
When it's set to take a chance, maybe.
Images you've already seen, just put together in a different way. That's all. The whole idea is to put them together in a way that perhaps makes you think differently.
Marilyn. What's with
Marilyn and Steve.
icons like Marilyn Monroe and Steve McQueen?
A flawed individual who was trying to express himself.
Tell me about these faces on this TV.
These faces, like the faces you see on the streets, part of my imagination, really. All kinds of characters, all kinds of folks that are sort of a melange of what I've been exposed to in my childhood from a pop culture point of view, which is basically comics, certainly the works of Mad Magazine, certainly Don Martin and Sergio Aragonés, certainly DC Marvel and all the cartoons of that era.
You gotta have soul to come along. on, sister, if you wanna roll. You gotta get down, you gotta have soul. Come on, sister, if you wanna roll. You gotta get down, you gotta have soul.
We have a fixation with skulls. Let's not deny that. We all have a tendency to have that fixation. It's prevalent in all kinds of art and all kinds of images these days.
Now they've copied everything I've done.
What about the use of horns on women? It's an interesting combination.
Horns on women.
Yeah. Well, it's in your art, so.
Sure. I mean, there's nothing, strange about that, is there?
You tell us.
By putting these two together, I've actually, for me anyway, brought together two images that are very powerful. That of a fantastically, usually well-endowed woman with these majestic skulls, with these horns. So that's why I do them. That's why I find them interesting. Then they're surrounded again with all that sort of imagery that we all grew up with, that whole explosion, that shotgun approach to art that I had, put it all in there and just blast it against the canvas. That's what I like to do. If I start thinking about what I'm going to do, I'll never finish something.
It's a bit perverse, though, that putting the horns on women like that, don't you think? I mean, I like it, but it's a bit
Perverse as in
provocative.
Perhaps. Perverse, that's a pretty strong word to use. I would certainly say that...
I mean, it's a very strong visual.
Well, that's good.
The naked woman and the skull with the horns.
I think that's a good thing, that you think that it's a strong visual.
That's so funny, they never lie with me.
I needed to go and express myself in a way which would allow me to take a piece of that artwork that I see on the street and be able to recreate it in such a way that someone is willing to take it and put it in their home. So you're actually putting a piece of street art in your home, or a recreation of street art in your home. I think the best way to wrap up what I'm trying to do is, besides expressing myself, is to make you, as an audience, think about the art that you see.
How do you want to end this?
I want to end this with you.
Did you find pleasure or pain in Bangkok?
Well, I was a bit too young to experience either. Good question. .com days were fantastic. OPP. Do you know what that means? OPP?
Other people's money?
Other people's money.
That's OPM. Tell us about the first time you saw a grown man naked. Okay. I'm just trying to loosen you up, man.
I like that. Towards the late 80s, early 90s, when I was also writing papers on the side, research papers and essays for other people, getting paid under the table, very dodgy stuff. You all right with the camera there, mate?
I can take a break.